ท่านผู้ชมครับวันนี้ผมมีนัดกับโรเบิร์ตอัมสเตอร์ดัมเพื่อที่จะพูดคุยกันเรื่องที่เกี่ยวข้องกับ ICC หรือศาลอาญาโลกแล้วก็เรื่อง IPU ที่เรียกว่าสหภาพรัฐสภาที่ทำงานเกี่ยวข้องกับเรื่องการตัดสิทธินักการเมืองไทยไม่ต่ำกว่า215คนแล้วก็เกี่ยวข้องกับเรื่องการยุบพรรคการเมืองไทยอย่างน้อย4พรรคเช่นไทยรักไทยพลังประชาชนชาติไทยมัชฌิมาธิปไตยเป็นต้นขณะนี้เรื่องการฟ้องร้องได้ไปอยู่ที่ IPU ว่าจะเยียวยาอย่างไรเป็นการทำโดยชอบหรือไม่ชอบหรือไม่อย่างไรอันนี้คือประเด็นส่วนเรื่องที่มีความสำคัญก็เกี่ยวข้องกับเรื่องท่านรองประธานศาลอาญาระหว่างประเทศโดยเฉพาะมิสเตอร์คาร์ลนะครับที่เป็นรองประธานศาลอาญาโลกที่ชื่อว่า ICC เนี่ยที่มาเยือนประเทศไทยเมื่อสัปดาห์ที่แล้วก็บอกว่า ICC ไม่ได้มีอำนาจศาลที่จะพิจารณากรณีของไทยเนื่องจากว่าเป็นกรณีที่ประเทศไม่ได้ทำสัตยาบันแม้จะได้ลงนามใน ICC แต่ไม่ได้ทำสัตยาบันโดยรัฐสภาของไทยจึงทำให้เกิดปัญหาทีนี้เรื่องนี้เนี่ยทนายความที่ดูแลคดีนี้คือคุณโรเบิร์ตอัมสเตอร์ดัมเนี่ยกำลังดำเนินการความเห็นมีข้อแตกต่างเนื่องจากว่าหลายประเทศผมยกตัวอย่างในกรณีที่ ICC เคยพิจารณากรณีของคองโกของซูดานยูกันดาเคนยาหรือหลายประเทศเนี่ยก็ไม่ได้เป็นสมาชิกICC ที่เคยทำสัตยาบันไว้ที่ ICC จึงเรียนว่าเรื่องนี้เป็นเรื่องที่น่าสนใจครับจึงอยากจะให้คุณโรเบิร์ตได้ชี้แจงกับพี่น้องประชาชนคนไทย Okay, Bob, I have introduced to the public that today we are going to talk about the case of Thailand with the IPU and also the case of criminal case in Bangkok last April and May, which are pending now at the ICC. The Vice President of the ICC came to Bangkok last week and put out some words which make the Thai public questioning whether the ICC would be accepting the case that you are going to file to the ICC or not. I think that the words of the Vice President of the ICC is very questionable, and I would like you to talk on the point because we means the Thai people are expecting the ICC to do some work on this regard to the criminal case in Thailand. Would you like to talk to the IPU first?
I'm happy to talk about either one. Dr. Wiboon, you tell me what you'd prefer.
Okay. I would like you to talk first about the IPU in regard to the dissolution of the political parties and the deprivation of the many executive committees of the 4 political parties in Thailand. Whether this would be taken up fruitfully in the future. Go ahead, Bob.
Well, we made a presentation. The presentation was confidential. We have yet to receive a ruling. So I can't get into what we said, but it is clear from all of the documents we filed at the UN and in other organizations that we spoke about the 200 Thai MPs who have been illegally disqualified. And this combination of individuals who were disqualified, in addition to the dissolution of political parties, and the fact that the Democratic Party was not disillusioned, simply goes to the judicialization of the coup. The fact that the coup in 2006 was simply the first of a series of coups that have taken place in respect to destroying any semblance of independence of the judiciary in Thailand. So we believe the presentation went well. We believe that the Interparliamentary Union will address these issues. I can say on behalf of those parliamentarians, it felt good to be in front of an independent body and make such a presentation. And you, among others, are to be complimented for having set this into motion and we'll just have to await the results.
Okay. Looking into the question of the petition in regard to the illegitimacy as well as the illegality of the cases, I think the IPU, would the IPU be the proper organization to take care of the case?
Well, there are various UN organs and rapporteurs who we intend to address as well. But the IPU is certainly one of the most important, and they are having an assembly in Panama in April, and we are hoping that perhaps these issues might get the floor at that time as well, but we have no idea as to whether that will occur.
Okay. People are interested in this case because Thailand is having the general election this year, possibly. And if the meeting is fast enough or the consideration or the decision is fast enough, and then it might affect the general election in some ways, because there are many politicians in Thailand have been debarred from the coming election. So we understood about that, and we are waiting for the April meeting in somehow. Let me move on to the ICC case, Bob, in regard to the ICC Vice President Judge Hans Call, whether I pronounce it correctly, who came to Bangkok last week and talked about the problem of the jurisdiction, whether the ICC would be able to bring the Thai criminal political crimes into the consideration with the I don't know whether he is the pre-trial justice, one of the people in the panel. However, his opinion is quite important to the public. I would like you to talk about this before the submission of the case on the 31st of January. Please go ahead.
Look, number one, I fully intend to be before the ICC, and I will not address the judge directly, because that would be inappropriate. Okay. And I will not address either him or his comment. I would only say the following. In my 30 years of practice, firstly, I have never seen a government and a media focus more on the question of whether they can be procedurally caught as opposed to whether they committed the crimes against humanity. We, on January 31st, are going to present affidavit evidence and independent expert evidence that is going to demonstrate that the Thai government behaved in a manner that was criminal. That was not only criminal, but that involved immense gravity, that were systematic, that were widespread, and that clearly qualify as crimes against humanity. It is absolutely incredible to me that the media is focusing on whether or not we can get to the ICC rather than on the fact that we have the evidence to demonstrate that Abbasid, I won't call him Prime Minister anymore, I'll either call him criminal or I'll call him an accused, but I won't call him Prime Minister, that Abbasid was involved in ordering crimes against humanity to occur. So, substantively, I am highly confident we can prove our case. I also believe that our evidence is so damning that the government will be forced, finally, to address the facts as opposed to getting caught up with the ICC. Because let me be extremely clear to all my friends in Thailand. The ICC is only one of a number of international institutions. And the very basis of the International Criminal Court is what's called complementarity. which means that once the evidence is established, we should be able to bring that in a Thai national court once democracy is restored in Thailand. In respect to jurisdiction, everything the judge said is true. Thailand is not a signatory. I would alert the Thai people, however, to the fact that that is not the only basis on which this case could be heard. And that's all I'm going to say until Monday.
Okay.
On Monday, I will outline why, in fact, we believe there is jurisdiction at the ICC. But I want to say something further. I want to express my gratitude to the UDD and my profound view that the UDD as an organization has conducted themselves with courage and with nonviolence. And in their aspirations and their focus on the ICC, they demonstrate their desire for the rule of law in Thailand. That is the most important message from this kerfuffle about what the Vice President said. It is deeply moving to me as a lawyer to see the people of Thailand longing for justice. And I am deeply grateful to tell them that we will get justice. Whether we get justice at the ICC, whether we get justice through the courts of Italy, where we are collaborating with the Palengi family, whether we get justice through other courts, we will get justice. Just as in Latin America in the 1970s, the generals tried to find a way to defeat their populations from bringing them to justice, we will make sure that Abbasid and his henchmen and cronies that murdered innocents by the dozens in the streets of Bangkok will be tried. I can't promise when, but I can promise that those deaths will not go unavenged before a court. What is critical is a part of our document called the Strategy of Tension, which demonstrates that the government is intent on landing and launching attack after attack on the red shirts to provoke violence. We believe the government itself has been involved in violence against the red shirts. We believe the government itself has planted bombs. We believe the government itself has staged criminal actions and attempted to foist these on the red shirts, and we are going to reveal that evidence. The government has behaved criminally and shamefully, and we are going to distribute this evidence around the world. And we are going to say to the Obama administration and the administration in Tokyo that they should not grasp the hand of Abbasid without seeing Mr. Pinochet, because that's who he is. He is a man who, in a premeditated, calculated fashion, set about to kill the leaders of the red shirts. And Prayut and the others that have served with him also need to stand before a court. And it is incredibly important for the red shirts to continue nonviolence, because the government is so desperate to provoke violence, to justify their action, that the most important message to convey to everyone in the red shirts is how critical it is for the continuation of strict nonviolence and peaceful demonstration until this case is heard somewhere.
Okay, Bob. I presume that the interview by the Vice President of the ICC should not discourage the UDD and the cousins of the victims. On the procedure at the ICC, I would like to ask you whether the two governments, at least, I mean the Rome and the Tokyo, would also be involved in taking this case into consideration because two of the victims in Bangkok belongs to Italy and Japan, and there are two judges of these two countries in the ICC. Out of the 18 judges, there are the judge from Japan as well as from Italy. Would this be acknowledged to both of them?
No. Look, I will not discuss the judges.
Okay.
As I said, I can't do that. It would be inappropriate to do that. What I can say is that we are setting up a website, which we will announce on January 31st, which we will hope you and others will access, which will have affidavits. It will have our expert evidence of a U.S. Green Beret. It will have a tremendous amount of information, and it will demonstrate the illegal conduct of the Thai government. And we will take the position with the authorities in the U.S. and Japan and other countries that they are under a duty to investigate. We will ask for hearings. We will suggest that you cannot criticize Burma and support Thailand. We will do all of that, but it will take a lot of time, and people need to be realistic. The big issue at the ICC, in terms of jurisdiction, is not only the issue that the Vice President raises, but it is the issue of whether or not the court determines that the destruction of human life in Thailand was large enough. One of the things the prosecutor talks about is the 250,000 dead in Sudan, or the millions dead in Congo. We need to bring home to the ICC that the repetitive and systemic nature of the murder of civilians by Thai authorities reaches that level of gravity. That will also be a major obstacle. So everyone needs to understand that the ICC is full of obstacles for us to get this case heard. But that whether or not the case is heard at the ICC, the documentation we have put forward will serve forever as an indictment of the Thai government and will be used by other governments, by others who were injured or killed, to find justice, not only in Thailand but in other countries. We had no choice but to make this application, because to do anything less would have been to violate the memory of the dead, and to do anything less, to just throw up our hands and say there's no hope, would be to give in to this feeling of powerlessness that the military wants you to feel. What changed in Latin America was when the people in the streets realized they had the power and that they could not stand the military junta anymore. There will come that moment in Thailand, and then Abbasid and his cronies may well be tried before a Thai court the way Chilean courts and Argentinian courts and Brazilian courts are trying their generals today.
It is understood about the attitude of Abbasid and the media supporting this regime that they would be against the hearing at the ICC in any case. I want to ask you whether the cases that were heard about the Congos, Sudan, Kenya, and some other countries, were all these countries' cases related to the ratification of the parliament in their countries with the ICC, or they came to the UN?
No.
Okay.
No. So there are other ways beyond ratification. And again, I'm not going to discuss this before the 31st.
Okay.
But there are other ways beyond ratification.
Okay. So we might have to talk to the 15 members of the UN Security Council.
That's one of the options, certainly.
Okay. I thank you, Bob. I think the point that I would like to clear to the Thai public today is quite, well, I could say still hopeful for the Thai public who is now questioning after the visit of the Vice President of the ICC. Any additional comments that you would like to make before the 31st?
Other than to say to people that the document that we will release on the 31st will comprehensively address the criminal conduct of the Thai authorities.
Okay.
And that we should ensure, because the major press will not cover it, we should ensure that we distribute this report as widely as possible within Thailand so that we force the government to address these issues factually and to stop obfuscating and to stop refusing and to stop a phony campaign of reconciliation and to stop destroying evidence and to stop behaving in a manner that is wholly criminal in terms of how they've suppressed evidence, destroyed the investigation in an attempt to avoid accountability.
Talking about the complementary of the ICC to the cases around the world, I understand that the function should be, or the case should be first taken by the internal court of justice in that country.
That's right.
And in this case of Thailand, because those people who are accused are now in the regime, are now in power. So I suspect the possibility is very less for the Thai courts to be bringing the case up for hearing at the moment. This case I talk, but I do not want to discourage the victims and the cousins of the victims in Thailand. But I think that if this regime is still in power, it is almost hopeless that the Thai court would be able to bring this to jurisdiction.
That's clear, and we've said that in our application. Okay. There is a section of the statute that says where you can demonstrate a national court is unable or unwilling to hear an application, it can go to the ICC. We feel we can surmount that hurdle, okay. And we have put evidence together. I mean, one of the things that's funny is we have assembled a team of some of the leading experts in the world to work with us. Dr. Knoops, who is working with us every day, okay. Is one of the world's experts, a full professor of criminology. He was voted the best lawyer in the Netherlands last year. He may be, in fact, the world expert in this area of the military and the ICC. So believe me, all of us need to understand that we've put together a terrific team to assist us in these endeavors.
Okay. I hope some of the best Thai lawyers should join you in doing the case. I hope. Well,
they are. They are. But for their safety, I am not going to announce their name.
Oh, okay.
And I should tell you bluntly, we have not only some of the best Thai lawyers, but we have some heroic Thai citizens who work with us. And all of them are subject to threat. My partner who was in Bangkok was followed round the clock. Witnesses we were supposed to interview were told not to speak to us. We have faced round-the-clock harassment from Thai authorities. I've been banned from the country. What does that tell you about what the Thai authorities are trying to do? It tells you that their full intent is to insulate themselves from justice. Anyone who is for justice is viewed as an enemy by the present junta. So thank you, Dr. Wiboon, for having me, and I want to again thank those who have essentially held off on this till the 31st.
And I thank you, Bob, for bringing or for your attempts to bring justice to Thailand and to the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
ท่านผู้ชมครับนั่นคือการพูดคุยกับคุณโรเบิร์ตอัมสเตอร์ดัมเป็นทนายความระดับนานาชาติที่เกี่ยวข้องกับคดีความ 2-3 เรื่องในประเทศไทยเรื่องที่1ก็คือกรณีการสังหารหมู่ที่กรุงเทพซึ่งมีคนเสียชีวิตอย่างน้อย91ศพแล้วก็บาดเจ็บกว่าเกือบ 2,000 นอกจากนั้นก็จะมีการยุบพรรคการเมืองแล้วก็มีการตัดสิทธิทางการเมืองของนักการเมืองไทยไม่ต่ำกว่า215คนคดีขณะนี้อยู่ที่สภาพรัฐสภาแตกต่างกัน2อย่างครับที่ IPU ไม่ได้มีการลงโทษแต่จะเป็นเพียงการเสนอแนะในกรณีที่ประเทศไทยรัฐสภาไทยเป็นสมาชิกขององค์การสหภาพรัฐสภาแห่งนั้นแต่กรณีของ ICC อย่างที่เคยเกิดขึ้นกรณีคดีของประเทศซูดานประเทศคองโกประเทศเคนยาและหลายประเทศมีการตัดสินอันนี้รวมทั้งของกรณีกัมพูชาด้วยนะครับมีการตัดสินจำคุกมีการตัดสินให้ลงโทษไม่มีคดีความผมจึงเรียนว่าสิ่งที่สื่อไทยได้รายงานโดยเฉพาะทางราชการไทยได้รายงานในลักษณะที่ว่าประเทศไทยไม่อยู่ในฐานะที่จะถูกพิจารณาคดีความโดยศาลอาญาโลกในขณะนี้ถ้าหากฟังจากคุณโรเบิร์ตอัมสเตอร์ดัมแล้วผมคิดว่าคงจะต้องเปลี่ยนความคิดสมัยถ้ายังไงก็ช่วยกรุณาศึกษาเดี๋ยวเรื่องนี้เรามีเรื่องที่ต้องพูดคุยอีกมากหลังจากวันที่31 มกราคมนี้จะมีการพิจารณาอีกรอบหนึ่งว่าศาลอาญาโลกจะรับคดีนี้ไว้พิจารณาเช่นกรณีของซูดานของเคนยาหรือของคองโกหรือไม่นะครับก็ติดตามดูกันแล้วกันว่าเป็นเรื่องที่มีความสำคัญกับสาธารณะของประเทศไทยต้องขอบคุณท่านผู้ชมทุกท่านครับ